Hey guys, it's Miss Alanese again, here for our second lesson on personal narrative writing. And yesterday we talked about writing our personal narrative unit again, but this time we're just going to get a little bit more deeper into how we do that. And we're going to continue writing true stories about you. So, our last lesson, we talked about how our first step is to think about something that happened or think about something that we did. So that should have been your first step in thinking about what you're going to write about, and maybe what you did with mom, dad, or your family, or some friends. So the second step is to use and practice using a storyteller's voice when you tell your story to someone. So yesterday I thought about what I wanted to write about, and then I used my storyteller's voice about my trip to Mexico to the butterfly sanctuary. And a sanctuary is a place that is a safe space for the animals to live and grow and reproduce. So that's what a sanctuary is. So I went to the Monarch Butterfly Sanctuary in Mexico. And the first part of my story, after I thought about it, I wrote it down. So this is the first part, and it says, I went to see the monarch butterflies. So today I want to teach you that when we're reading a story, a true story, we use pictures and words to tell the story. So you need to tell who was there, where was it, or where were you, and what you did. So we're going to continue, and I'm going to continue writing the story because, I didn't just say, I wrote about the part where we went to the parking lot and we hiked up the really narrow streets up to the sanctuary where the horses were. So when we got to the sanctuary, we went to a spot where the horses were. So I'm going to go ahead and model that on my paper, and I'm going to use a pen today because I can't find a pencil, but you should probably use a pencil, but a pen is okay. So here is the next part of my story, which is when we got to the horses. All right, guys, so I'm going to keep this in mind while I'm writing my true story about the Monarch Butterfly Sanctuary, and it says use pictures and words to tell who, where, and what was there. So the second part of my story, after we hiked up those really narrow streets, is that we got to the horses. We paved the entrance. So I'm going to do my very best to draw where I was, which was in the sanctuary. And there was this little thing here, kind of like some steps. And it kind of went out a little bit like that, kind of like a box or a cube, right? And we had to get on these horses. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and draw a horse. So there's his body, right? And they have a bit of a kind of like a long neck there. And so there's his leg, and they have hooves. And like his belly. I need to make this part bigger. And his other hoof. Kind of something like that. And there's the other one over here. And his other leg, because they have 4 legs, right? So there's one. And their face is kind of this is not a very good horse, but we just do our best. That's all we can do. And his mane, kind of like that. There's his ears. They have like a bridle kind of thing where you can hold on to the horse. And there's saddle. And on top of this horse, I'm going to go ahead and do my best little stick figure here of yours. Another part of telling your pictures in words is who was there. So I'm going to go ahead and draw Ezekiel, and he was wearing a hat. So I'm going to draw his hat here. So there's Ezekiel riding this horse, and he's holding on. And then there was also some guides, and the guides actually were holding on to the horses. So I'm going to draw our horse guide here, and he's going to be, there he is. He's happy to see us. So there's his legs, and he's holding on to the horse. And then Jacob was there, and so I'm going to draw myself over here. So there's me, there's Miss Alanis. And I'm super excited. Kind of looks like I'm scared, but I'm super excited. And Jacob is waiting to get on his horse. So I'm going to draw him here, and he's super excited with a big smile. So we are in the sanctuary, and over here was kind of like a stage. And there was a lot of guides waiting to help visitors. All ready to go. So here's my sanctuary. So now that I've drawn my picture, oh, sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and do the next part, which is the words. And with the words, I also have to make sure, number one, that they match our picture, but that it tells who, where, and what. So I'm going to go ahead and put Jacob, because Jacob was there. Ezekiel. And then a comma, because when writing a list, we use commas in between. And I got, oh, there's a sight word. I got to the sanctuary. And I'm going to put a period at the end. And then, so that's who was there and where we were. And what did we do? So we, and then, so we got, it's another sight word, on, and sound it out, all, horses. We got on horses to hike and then up the mountains. So I'm going to write mountains, and you can sound these words out as best you can, or you can ask mom and dad to help you spell them out. And I'll put a period right there. So here, my pictures match my words, and I told who, where, and what we were doing at the sanctuary. So that is the second part of my personal narrative writing about when I went to go see the monarch butterflies. This is my second part of my story, because sometimes stories take more than one page. So make sure you add more to your story before we start any piece.